Page 3, Bagatelle, Opus 33, number 6. 4/4 time with a pickup beat. We'll talk about this one hand at a time, then we'll put the hands together. So third finger start, so it's 4/1, 4/1, 2. And the second line, third finger. So the last note of the first line is with fourth finger, the first note of the second line is with third. It's up to you how you do it. You could actually play the last note of the first line with third finger too if you like. But on the second line in the first measure, it's here. Don't forget the D, and it's just a, that's all. And you may wonder, why are they doing that? Why is the D even there? I don't need it. That's fine, so why play a D? And the answer is because it's part of the chord the left hand is playing. See, the left hand's got these? Actually, the left hand needs to do that. All three notes. But it's out of position. It's down here. So the D's out of position. So the right hand's helping it out to play it for it. That's all. That's all. Why it's there, in case you wonder. Thumb down, and then lift up, snoop phrase, and go up. And that's 5/3. See, in the last line you get the same thing, an octave higher. But we don't need the eighth note in the right hand here because now the left hand's got it covered. On page 4, actually it's the last note on page 3 going in, because it leads into it. Go here. Here, lift up between these phrases, the second measure. And that's a G natural there. And then lift up, it's a new phrase. Come down. And then they're saying a 4 and then a 3. Again, you could play 3 on both if you'd like. You'd repeat that page. Let's go on to page 5. Here. You're on 4. Yeah. This idea of here to here. You have to do it sometimes, so don't shy away from it, but we don't have to finger it that way. You can, if you would like, is at the top of page 5, use fifth finger on the half note, and then do a 2/3, and then a 1/5. That's fine too, it works. That's the fingering I'm using in the next one. At the end of the line is a 2/3, and second line a 1/5. Same fingering. Okay, and lift up. Lift down. That's tied, so it's 4/1-2. What's the accidentals? And now this is the third line down. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. What's fingering? You can do a 5 if you'd like. A 4 is nice too. However, I think I would use the thumb on the E natural of that, and reserve the second finger for the D sharp, because you got a D sharp coming up. You are using thumb on the next one, that for the last line. I'd like to finger all of those the same if I can, so it would be a thumb on the E each time. Then you have a DSL coda to go back and do other stuff, and the end is just no big deal, I hope. Let's look at the left hand. Play this left hand as legato as you can with the fingers. Here. 3 or 2/1, a 3/1, whichever. I like 2/1 myself, and then a 3/1. I just don't have to move as far. I'm sort of in this position. I'm just sort of covering, you know. And if I do a 3/1, I got to come up here, and I don't like this. So I do a 2/1 and then a 3/1, and treble clef. Top of page 4, up here, your back and bass clef. Here. Just try and get the notes down at the same time and play them as legato as you can. And that 4/2. connect them if you can. On page 4, second line, look at this second measure here. And my thumb down here. Another fingering you can experiment with, that if you want to play them legato, is here, and then 2-3, and then 4-1, 5-3, and then there you can just do a 4-2. I play it all legato. It's fun. And then again 2-1 at the third line down, 2-1, not 3-1. And then treble clef. You've had this before. Let's go on to page 5. What's this fingering and the accidentals? Connect them, all legato, and then the next one is that last measure, that's an F. And then 2-1. I do a 4-2 here. On the, this is the second line, second measure, the last beat, the A, D sharp, 4-2, and then I just don't want to move my hand up here. So it's a 2-1, 3, 4-2. There. Then they're saying 2-3, and then a 1-3, and then the F sharp. Think you can get that? So work it out so you got the fingering worked out fine for each hand. So you do it one hand at a time so you can really focus on it. That's why I'm doing it. Then we go put the hands together, and if you're changed in fingerings, make sure you take a pencil and write it in. So back on page 3 at the beginning, you're here slow. Watch these rests, they're a little tricky, like in the last measure on page 3. The right hand comes up when you play the C, and then there can be a little silence between the C and the E, just to make sure that the listener and everybody feels that phrase. The melodies in the right, bring out the melody if you can. And it's soft. Decide how soft you want the melody to be and play it there. Crescendo at the end of the second line. I wouldn't go up more than maybe a medium soft at that, maybe medium loud if you. And then medium soft at the bottom to go to the next page. Top of page 4. Watch out here, here. You take that as slow as you gotta do to get these fingers, because they're all, and play it as legato as you can. And then go on. Now it's from here and here. So you might have to work that out. So, and then fourth finger, and hold that down as you do that. There's no rest in the left hand, so it's here. So the starting the second line, you're here. You're just lifting up in the right hand. And just a little tricky. The fingering in the book is fine. I just like to connect things legato if I can. Now let's go over to page 5. I'm going to use fifth finger on that half note in there because I want to do this. I want to use this fingering. The E is tied. You hang on to it. This is the last note in the second line there on page 5. Hang on to that E. And I recommend, if you can, connect the B flat and the B natural. We need these phrasing in the right hand here. So hang on to that. That has a fermata. harmonic, linger on that for a little bit before you go back to the DS, to the sign wherever it is. Now, speed-wise, it's a bagatelle. It's a fun dance. It's just a fun thing. You can find recordings of this to get an idea of the atmosphere of the piece. It won't be this arrangement necessarily, but you'll still be able to hear the melody and get an idea of what it should sound like. So just have fun with it. Keep it slow until you got it, and then you can speed it up and add the dynamics. You really need to get to know the piece well enough that you're not thinking about mechanics and fingering and all that, and get into the music and then try to add the dynamics and feel the dynamics as you go through this.